I'm a 45-year-old single father of 3. Their mom died 10 years ago. I have 3 sons, 17-year-old Andrew, 15-year-old Connor and 14-year-old Max. Connor was born female, he is trans. He came out as trans 5 years ago, and has now socially transitioned, not yet physically. My sister, 38F, just got married. Me and my sons were also invited. My family has known that Connor is trans for 2 years now, some have adjusted well, some not so much. My sister is pretty indifferent about it. Her wedding was really super well organized to the last detail. She wanted all the men to wear shirt plus tie and then women's sundresses. I texted her a picture of our outfits the day before the wedding, and she said where's Naya's dress? I was a bit surprised and told her not to dead name my son and that he'll be wearing a shirt and tie like the rest of men there or we aren't coming. She said fine and that was it. At the reception, my sister got mad that Connor was wearing a tie, but didn't say much after that. When we sat down at our table, the card Naya. I went to my sister and she said she used their real name. I told her me and the boys are leaving and she told me don't you dare cause a scene at my wedding, Naya can be a guy any other day. I called her a bigot and we left. My family says I ruined her wedding. IF35 got engaged to my fiancé Eric M37 2 months ago. He moved in with me and my daughter Zoe F13. Everything was going well till he started complaining about Zoe's cat, which is strange because the cat is so sweet and quiet most of the time and so I had no idea what the issue was exactly. Anyways, he went from complaining about the cat to making demands about her. He gave Zoe a list of places the cat can/can't go, things she's allowed to touch, banned her from places like kitchen and sofa, Zoe's favorite place to cuddle with her cat. Zoe showed me this list and I had an argument with him telling him he needed to stop this because it was ridiculous. He ranted about this being his house too and how he expects things to change after we get married. Few days ago, I was at work and got a call from Zoe crying saying her cat wasn't in her room and in the house. I freaked out too and went home to look for her. Zoe and I looked for 2 hours before a neighbor of ours brought her and told us that he saw Eric leaving her outside and getting in his car and leaving. I was surprised and quite angry. Zoe took her cat and went back inside. I immediately drove to my future in-law's home where Eric said he'd be. The second I saw him sitting with his family I went off and blew up at him in front of everyone. His mom asked what was happening and I told her her son got my daughter's indoor cat outside the house probably hoping for her to get lost. He argued about wanting me to stop spouting nonsense and go home and we'd talk there but I refused. It got worse and I ended up leaving after his family flipped out at him. He sent a bunch of texts talking about the stunt I pulled in front of his family. He said that he didn't mean to leave the cat out but after checking the cams I confirmed it. He still insisted that I humiliated him in front of his family and tried to turn them against him. He's been staying with a friend and has stopped calling and texting. Ada for blowing up on him in front of his family? Here's some cattaxsinger.com web link. I am a 31-year-old man and was at a large store yesterday with my 5-month son when he did what babies do. I went over to the restrooms and saw that there wasn't a family, companion restroom, just a men's and women's. I went into the men's room and saw there was a cubicle and a few urinals, but no changing table. The sink didn't have a counter either. I walked out and hunted down an employee to ask where the changing table was. She said it was in the bathroom, and I asked where, assuming there was a family, companion restroom on the other side of the store. She took me back to where I just was. I asked if there was another bathroom, and she said no. I told her I was just in the bathroom and there was no changing table. She asked if I was sure and suggested I look again. I was annoyed, but I went back in the men's room. No changing table. When I came out the employee was gone. Keep in mind, my son has been in his poopy diaper this whole time. So I give up and head into the ladies' room which sure enough had a changing table. There was a woman in there washing her hands, and she said wrong bathroom, buddy. I gestured to my son and said no changing table in the men's room. She laughed and said bro, that sucks. Then she walked out. So I rushed to change him, hoping to be done before anyone else walked in. I'm almost done when a woman walks in and starts screaming at me. I tried to explain what I was doing, but she kept screaming get out. You can't be here. Then she ran out. I finished putting the diaper on and rushed out of the bathroom. I saw the woman talking to an employee and decided to leave without my stuff. The employee tried to wave me down and stop me, but I rushed out to my car, buckled my son into his car seat and left. My wife said I absolutely did the right thing, but my mom said I'm an idiot and was 100% in the wrong. My sister won't stop laughing at me and is no help at all. Ada? I, 28F, had a stillbirth 5 weeks ago. My sister gave birth to a healthy baby boy 4 weeks ago. After my stillbirth, I was producing milk and pumping, and my sister couldn't breastfeed after her son was born. Formula shortage was awful and I was literally throwing my milk away, so I offered it to my sister and she gladly accepted. I was advised by the doctors to pump for 3 weeks after the stillbirth to prevent problems for me, and then stop, otherwise I just keep producing milk. Due to the formula shortage, I have been pumping for 5 weeks now, to give the milk to my sister. Now that there is more formula in stock and she has been able to go buy it, I told her I'll stop pumping. She told me her son has stomach problems after the formula and asked me to keep pumping. I told her I emotionally cannot handle it any longer. She said I am being selfish and she already has to feed her son by bottle, because she at first suggested I just nurse him for his daily feedings at least. We live next door, and I refused. I told her I'm sorry and I can pump for a few more days so she can put some in the freezer and have some backup until she finds a better formula for her son, but she said breast milk is healthiest and I should just help her out. She called me a selfish and said that I am the embodiment of misery loves company. My mother feels I should help my own sister out. My husband said my sister is way out of line. I feel really awful because I could still help her out and I know she needs it. Edit. I just want to thank all of you for all this support. Thank you so very much. I couldn't respond to every single message, but I am so grateful for it. I just got married last week. My wife and I are both in our 30s. I am Mexican, she is American, but we both grew up in the US and both our families know both languages. My wife planned every bit of the wedding and was a very controlling and nervous bride, but alright, I get that she was stressed. During the reception I went to the band and asked them to play a song for me to sing to my new wife. It was Te Amar by Miguel Bose. It was the song from Out First Date and a really bad Mexican restaurant, so it became a long-standing joke between us. The guests really loved the song. My milk cried and told me it was beautiful, but my bride seemed upset. I asked her what's wrong and she said I am in awe for taking the spotlight to enforce my ethnicity and not just let the band sing our song for us. Ada? For over a decade, myself and my 4 best friends have had an annual fishing trip. There has always been a no wives, no girlfriends rule since the beginning, and no one has ever violated it. 2 years ago, my friend Tim told the group he wanted to bring his 5-year-old son, to sort of pass the tradition on to the next generation. At that point, only Tim and I had kids, but my daughter was 3 and too young for fishing. We all supported Tim's idea and made a big deal over the little guy. He had a great time and came last year as well. My other friend, Randy, has a 4-month-old son now. When the baby was born, Tim gave Randy a children's fishing pole to give to his son on his 5th birthday. So it seemed clear to me that the tradition had evolved to us plus our kids, which I'm cool with. I mentioned to my friends the other day that my daughter was excited for this year's fishing trip and they looked at me like I was crazy. Tim said I shouldn't bring her, and I was baffled. I was super supportive of him bringing his son. This is no different. My daughter is now the age Tim's son was when he first came on the trip. Another friend brought up the no wives, no girlfriends rule, which pissed me off. My 5-year-old daughter isn't anyone's wife or girlfriend. I said if they don't want my daughter there, then I don't want Tim's son there. Tim was offended and stormed out. Randy said what I said was uncalled for. I said I'm bringing my daughter and that's that. I just want to make sure I'm not being an entitled prick. Ada? Update, I sent this post to my friends, and we talked some more. They ended up apologizing. Daughter is definitely coming on the trip. I know many people assume that my friends are sexist and horrible, but they're really not. They were just worried that with daughter there we would have to stay at a hotel instead of the usual cabin and not be able to do as many activities, but I assured them my daughter can sleep without air conditioning as easily as Tim's son and they are going to be the ones having trouble keeping up with her 5-year-old energy. Everyone apologized for bringing up the no wives, no girlfriends rule and agreed that was a shitty thing to say. It's all good now. Thank you for your support.